Love and Thunder is the newest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the long overdue sequel to one of my favorite films in the franchise, which is Thor Ragnarok. And I gotta say, this movie is great, and it's also the 29th film in the series. I mean, how crazy it is that we already have 29 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, by the time our grandkids start this franchise, they're gonna have to take months off their schedule just to watch all these movies and TV shows being released nowadays. Disney is releasing so much content nowadays that it's starting to feel oversaturated, but I felt like this movie was a breath of fresh air, and today I'm going to explore why. So Love and Thunder continues the momentum from the last movie, which was Thor Ragnarok, and I gotta say that it continues a lot of the things that made that movie great, especially with Taika Waititi's writing, his humor that makes this film unique from other films, maybe a little bit more similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, but overall I have to say that it was a great film. It had many great moments, it had great lines. I feel like these movies breathe new life into Thor's character, which wasn't really that explored during like the first two Avenger movies and his two first movies, but ever since Taika Waititi came in and he was like shining more in Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, I feel like his character became one of the best ones in the franchise. So starting with the tone of the movie, I feel like Love and Thunder had a lot of great references to 80s films like Labyrinth, like Heavy Metal. It felt like kind of a lot of that same feeling that those movies had, and that's something I really appreciated. We don't get that much style nowadays, and especially with the soundtrack, which I thought was really great. This one had a lot of Guns N' Roses songs, like the last movie had Led Zeppelin featured on the soundtrack, and that's something I really appreciated because I'm a really big classic rock fan, like hard rock. I love hearing these songs in the movie, and I thought it was great. Also, the movie has a lot of great writing and a lot of humor. I feel like this is one of the funniest films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I heard a lot of people complain that these movies have like a lot more humor nowadays, like they're just basically comedies at this point, but that's something I really like. I mean, if you read the comics, I feel like you'll get a lot of the same style, especially like some of the older ones. I mean, they're basically comics about superheroes. We already saw like some dark movies like the Zack Snyder ones in the DC universe, and I feel like you had to have a little bit of everything. I don't feel like every movie has to be dark or serious. But I gotta say that even though the movie is funny, Thor Love and Thunder isn't really that like lighthearted as many people think. I feel like this movie had its great serious moments, like some of the sadder, more characterizing moments with some of the characters. And I think it kept a great balance between the two. Like it kept a balance between the humor, between the more serious stuff. And that's something I appreciated from the writing and the performances. To give an example, I'm going to focus on the main villain of the movie, which was Gorr the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale. And I gotta say, Christian Bale is a great actor. I feel like his portrayal of Gorr in this movie made it such a great character and such a great villain that I wish we could see more of in the future. So right now I'm going to go into heavy spoilers for Thor Love and Thunder. So if you haven't seen the movie, I recommend pausing this video or going to watch something else because we're going to discuss some heavy stuff. So coming back to Gorr, I feel like his character was wasted way too fast. I feel like I wish some characters would be kept for a couple movies at least, like kind of like Thanos in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, which was kind of built up through several movies. I feel like not a single other villain in the Marvel universe kind of has that treatment. They just keep him around for one movie, then they kill him off, and then you're moving on to the next threat. Something I don't really like. I wish some of these characters had more to them. And Gorr was a great villain. I thought his performance was great by Christian Bale, and also the way he relates to Thor and the way he learns throughout the movie. Now, I think in this film, the protagonists shine a lot more, and I gotta say that this movie, even though it's called Thor Love and Thunder, also features the other Thor equally as much as the original Thor. And who is the other Thor? It's Jane Foster, who was last seen in the second movie, and now she's brought back in all her glory. I feel like Jane is a great character that we didn't get to see much like in a couple of years, so I was really happy to see her back and the way her character was developed during this movie. So yeah, I thought Jane Foster was a great character. I think the way she interacts with Thor is great. They have really great chemistry, both actors, Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman, and I really liked her character this time. So Jane's character picks up a couple years after Thor: The Dark World, and her character has cancer, so she's trying to look for a cure through science at first, and then through magical means, and that leads her to the magic hammer Mjolnir, which she finds, and then that gives her Thor's powers. So at the same time, Thor is trying to stop the main villain, which is Gorr. Well, Thor, Gorr, it sounds funny, but yeah, that's basically the name of the villain and the hero. So basically his goal is to kill all the gods in the Marvel universe because one of them betrayed him a long time ago. He was trying to get him to cure his almost dead daughter, and he failed him. So he has kind of like a vendetta against all gods. And that's something I really liked about the plot is his character, his motivations were really good. And so when Thor and Jane reunite, they go on a quest to save a bunch of kids kidnapped, and that leads them into an adventure through time and space. And they meet a lot of great characters during the way. Valkyrie and Korg join them again, and I thought it was really good because those are really great characters. And they're also joined by a couple new ones, including Zeus, played by Russell Crowe, which was unexpectedly funny. I thought his character was funny, but a little over the top. Yeah, it still made for a great time. I really liked the way he was portrayed. The adventure itself was really good. I think the ending was very satisfying. I don't say this a lot about most like Marvel movies, but I thought the ending was good in a lot of ways. It had some really emotional moments. Gorr had a chance to kind of redeem himself. And yeah, I thought like the ending was good, well executed, and Jane had a great like send off because her character basically dies at the end of the movie. Well, we see her die, but then she appears in Valhalla with Heimdall, which is strange, but leaves a lot to think about the future and also the nature of the afterlife in the Marvel Universe. Something we saw briefly in Moon Knight, but I'm really interested to see where it leads from there. But yeah, I thought the movie was great, had a great conclusion. I feel like Thor's character is great as always. I wish to see more about him in the future. And yeah, that was a great conclusion to the movie. I really liked it. And honestly, I'm going to give it a 95 out of 100. I love Thor Love and Thunder, but I think I love Thor Ragnarok more, a little bit more, just like a tiny, teeny bit, because that movie was amazing when it came out. It really impressed me in a lot of ways, and I love the Hulk and the way he interacts with Thor. So yeah, it's a great duology that Taika Waititi like breathed a little bit of life into his character, and I hope to see him like a trilogy being completed by under this director. That would be great. I love to see a Thor 5. So yeah, that's everything for today. So anyways, thank you for watching my review of Thor Love and Thunder. I really enjoyed the movie. I highly recommend it. So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out in the theaters. But anyways, that'll be everything for today. See you later.